I've got a couple questions. What do you do when you start to feel low energy? What do you do when you start feeling like you have zero motivation because you can't sleep, you're very tired once the evening or right after work kind of hits and you're just trying to stay awake? What do you do when you find yourself just feeling overall bleh? Quite literally anything other than probably just chilling on the couch, eating, watching YouTube. What do you do when you find yourself going to a negative headspace? Where you find yourself in this perpetual thought loop that feels like everything and nothing all at the same time. Where everything feels like it's hitting you all at once and everything's super important. But to contrast, you can also think of all the ways as to what you're thinking is stupid. This week has been hitting me a little bit differently and a little harder than I felt in the last month, I would say. I've been feeling more and more tired, get really tired in the evenings, pretty much right after work, after dinner. All that I feel that I want to do is just to fall asleep. But I know if I do that, I'm probably not gonna make it through the rest of the night and I'll be up all night and workday is gonna be fun the next day. But taking a step back and breathing for a second, I'm realizing that one of the big factors that brings me to this state is a part of my job. There's a part of my job that has no structure. It could have me driving an hour and a half, 2 hours, or driving around all day, and I'll have no ability to plan my entire day. Or if I'm on call, I cannot plan anything for that weekend. It's been something that I've taken on almost solely the past year and a bit. And it's been a really big weight and challenge to my mental state. It really tests my patience. And it's also really showing me what I really care about. And one of the things I really care about is my downtime. Late last year, I believe around November, I got to a point where after almost a whole 9 months, almost a year of basically having a weekend every other weekend, if I could. But it got to a point where I couldn't actually shut my brain off. That every time, even now, when the ringer of when a call comes in goes off, I get this immediate sense of anxiety. And that got so bad, my sleep went straight out the window going to bed 3, 4 o'clock in the morning almost consistently every night. To the point where it would eventually catch up to me, and the moment 5 o'clock hit, I would maybe eat dinner, pass out and sleep for 14 hours until the next day, and then do it all over again. And overall, this taught me something about myself and the importance of the need to decompress. That after the end of a work day, or of any form of whatever feels like work, that I need to be able to turn my mind off, put the energy elsewhere and not think about work. To be able to separate and compartmentalize those things so that I can get home, walk through the door, or sign off of my computer and be like, now I'm home, now I'm with me, now I'm with my girlfriend, now I'm hanging out with the dogs, now I'm doing all these things that I can do that actually fulfill my life as opposed to just my bank account. And it comes to a point where that idea of work hard now, play later, it eventually just gets to you. Especially when you're not making as much money as the people who throw that out there as life advice when they've got millions of dollars sitting in a bank that they could just pull from. That's a really hard pill for me to swallow or understand when I'm just living an overall normal life, just trying to process what it's like to be an adult. And I think I was launched into becoming an adult, or launched into the real world unprepared and very quickly. A lot of the things that I experienced, my ups, my downs, have definitely made me into the person that I am now. But it's in the last 2 years that I'm really realizing that I definitely wasn't prepared. I perhaps wasn't given enough credit for my abilities, and overall impacted me in a way that made me very indecisive It made me scared to make my own decisions, to go out and take risks. And now it's something that I kind of just have to live with. But as a result of that, it's these last couple years that I've been learning a lot about myself and what really matters. And perhaps it was early on when the anxiety and these depressive episodes and this sudden lack of motivation started to hit, was because I just didn't have any money. And I blamed a lot of what I couldn't do, didn't have, or what I was not, all on the fact that I didn't have money. I eventually started working a lot, working so much, 40 plus hours out of a part-time job, no benefits, still not making enough money. And when you're like, man, you know, maybe if I really lived on my own, it would allow me to pursue my proper music career or my creative ventures, or allow me to really become myself, as we all go through. But eventually now I'm realizing it's just because I wasn't doing things that were truly making me happy. Most of my life, looking back on this now, I think I did a lot more for other people than I did for myself. That some of the decisions that I made were to please the other people, and that made me happy, which made them think that I was happy with what I was doing. But the underlying tone was always there. Am I really doing this for myself? Does this really make me happy? Am I doing this only to impress people, to get attention? But am I really doing all of this for myself? And that's what this is. That's what this vlog is all about. Call me selfish, but this is all about me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. But there's a lot of truth in that. This is me just trying to vocalize my thoughts, put them into different perspectives, and be able to have otherwise conversations I wouldn't get to have with other people, because I'm really scared of being vulnerable. And this is one of the things that allows me to just get my thoughts out and hopefully get them out in a way that makes sense. But it's just to allow myself to say the things that bug me and get them off my chest so that they don't end up bringing me deeper into a darker hole. And from those feelings, it makes me really think about my past as to why I feel this way. Why do I feel depressed? Why do I have so much anxiety? Why do I feel so afraid to take on new challenges? Why am I afraid to write music now? Why am I so afraid to record my thoughts and feelings onto a GoPro and release them out to the public? Because the thing that I've been craving the most out of people, out of content, out of this entire world is honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. And that's something that I feel like I've missed my entire life. Growing up, because I'm the baby, people just, out of the goodness of their heart, they just wanted to protect me. They wanted to give me the things, as cliche as it is, that they didn't have, or wanted to protect me from the bad things so that I didn't have to deal with those things. But ultimately, I feel like it actually backfired, because now I have a lot more problems or lack of skills that I now need to learn or cope with and sort out, because people chose to hide things from me. They chose to make my decisions for me, or make it seem like I was making my own decisions, when in reality, it felt like my life was kind of dictated for a really long time, and my input didn't matter, my thoughts didn't matter. What I felt like was fun to me at the time, whatever age it was, didn't really matter. And it's really unfortunate that I feel that way, and I'm now 24 years old. That's really real, and that's really scary. It's hard for me to put it into perspective when it's so easy for me to get into this negative headspace, because all I can think of are the reasons why. But it feels great to get it out there. But I ultimately know that I wouldn't be here without any of those people. I wouldn't know the people that I know now. I likely wouldn't have, I don't know. It's hard to think, because those are a lot of negative things that I just listed off that I feel today. And is it not logical that life would be so much better if I didn't have those things? I don't know. It's obviously easy to play the victim. It's easy to just put yourself in that position and just blame the entire world and say, fuck you! But that's what the whole point of this is. Trying to make sense of those things. I'm hoping, and I really am hoping, that I can listen back to this when I edit it and make some sense. To hear myself say what I'm saying to myself. And hopefully I can find some answers. And if there's any advice that you may have, I really do encourage you to leave a comment. If you're not comfortable with leaving a comment and you know me personally, please feel free to reach out. If I'm not completely upfront about it right away, it's possible that I'm not quite comfortable with you yet, or you just gotta give me a chance to warm up. And I'm more than willing to talk about what I'm currently feeling. But I will say that the half an hour that I just spent probably pacing back and forth here, just talking and chatting and tiring out both of my arms, trying to hold the camera still as much as I possibly can, I do feel a little better. I'm not gonna lie. I overall feel like I have a little bit more energy, and that there's just this, it's just this weight that feels like it's just lifted off. And now I can just let that be, and now I can just continue on with my night and just do something that makes me feel good and makes me feel happy. I guess sometimes the best things in life are really just the simple things.
Relax.
Hi, Lana. Oh. Can you wave to the peoples? No? Okay.